Hi there, welcome back to Just Making It. My name's Matt. I live in Northwest Pennsylvania and I raise beef and crops. And boy, what a difference compared to last video. Look at out there. We've got about 6 inches of snow, maybe closer to 8. It's 15 degrees. The wind is blowing. And I still haven't gotten that corn in yet. This video is going to be mainly a video on what I have planned for 2025 as far as projects. And I want to wish everybody, I hope they had a happy holiday. There's a lot of good things coming up this year. Here's a little weather station I put up. And that tells me what's going on outside. It works pretty good. It's Wi-Fi, so you get all your readings in the house there. It measures wind direction, relative humidity, temperature inside and out, and even a water gauge on it. Yep, that's pretty cool. I got that for Christmas. So there's the corn out there. We're eventually going to go out there. We still got that side to get and that side to get. My last video I did a little combining and I wasn't able to get it all. The weather, you know, once that snow gets on that corn, I can't do anything. So if it comes down to it, I might just pick the rest, but I really want to combine it, get that shell corn. So let me take you around here. I want to show you some of the projects I got planned for this year. Whether we get to them all, I don't know. We're going to try. Going to go over here to the tractor. I got to plug it in. Got to plug it in every day to feed. I got a block heater on this tractor. Got my cord here. I'm going to plug it in right there. Usually takes about 45 minutes. Give it a good hour. Plugged it in right there. You know, I just want to say, being a first generation farm, there is a lot of projects to do. It would be different if I was a 4th or 5th generation farm and everything would be built and how I'd like it. But as far as being a first generation, you know, you've got to buy all your equipment. You got to set things how you want them. And it's a never-ending story on projects to do. So I got this project here that I'm going to work on, and a lot of people out there probably already know what this is going to be. But I purchased these not too long ago, and they are round bale feeders. And what I'm going to do is make Fenceline feeders. I'm going to take half of the round bale feeder like this, and I'm going to put a post here and a post there along the fence line, and I'll be able to put my bale right in here, my round bale, and then I'll have electric wire going across, and that's where they'll feed. Now that's only when times are, you know, when it's really muddy and I can't get into the pasture, or I'm going to cause a lot of ruts, it's raining, I'll be able to feed them outside the fence. So I got 4 of those. 2 round bell rings I bought, but I split them in half. So I'll have 4 feeders. That's one project I'm going to do. Now this is a project, I don't know if I'm going to get to it this year. I might. But I'm thinking on knocking these 2 corn cribs down. There's a lot of lumber right there. I built those several years ago. And the floor is sort of getting bad in both of them. I could actually try to rebuild them. Which, if I do, they'll stay right there. I just got to rebuild the floors. So I'm actually undecided what I'm going to do here. If I got rid of those corn cribs, I would put grain bins up here. Have something to hold grain. And this is my corn crib right now that I'm using. It's the wire crib. I didn't quite get it full this year, but that's all the corn I actually need as far as cob corn, because I'm doing more shell corn. So, yeah, we'll be using this more than these. But if I could fix those floors, which I might, it's up for debate here, because the outer frames, you could see, they're in good shape. The roofs are really good. Believe it or not, I couldn't believe how much lumber I had into these. And they did a good job throughout the years. Another project I got going on, and this is going to be a definite. I got to finish painting this, staining the barn. You can see on top, I got so high to where I couldn't go any higher with my ladder, but I got to rent a lift to get that up there. So what I'm going to do, I could see just by painting that one side there, the stain is starting to flake off actually. So I'm going to hit it with another coat, the whole side. And then I'll get that top there when I get my lift. So that's a definite job that I'm going to do this year. And then here's a big one. Now I'm going to probably have a couple part series on doing this as far as videos. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to replace my fence. It's not in all that bad a shape, but you can see some of them are leaning. Some of them actually got pushed up by the frost. So I'm going to make new fence, and what we'll do is we'll make the fence inside that fence. And then when I'm done with the new fence, I'll take the old fence down. But this is high tensile here, and it goes all the way back to the woods there. Now those Fenceline feeders that I showed you a while ago, the round bell feeders, they're going to go in on this side. So I'm going to feed, there's some round bells there that I got lined up, covered with snow. They're going to be fed along this fence, so I don't have to go inside there with the cows and make a big mess. You can see the cows right there. They're up there just sunning themselves. It actually looks warm out, but it's 15 degrees right now. And the cows are free to go into the barn, but they like it outside. So I'm not going to tell them what to do. Wherever they prefer. I do want to say that I found a place that has cedar fence posts. Okay, they make round cedar fence posts. I was going to go with 8 foot by 5 inches. And I was going to put that all the way around the farm. Now, in the past, I usually got, you know, the treated fence posts like you'd buy at a farm store. You know, they last, but they get brittle after a while. So if anybody has cedar fence posts out there, let me know how much or how long they lasted for you compared to, say, a treated post like this. Here's my water well. It's underneath that tub right there with the tire on it, and we put straw around it just to make sure it don't freeze. It's going up to the cows there. There's a tire, and we'll go up there in a minute and I'll show you that. Let's go up here and check their water out. See, I got a heater right there. See that heater? But being that it's so cold, there's still ice up there. So I'm going to take a shovel. We're going to break that. It's not very thick, so I can just swipe it away here. I have to check it every day though. Yesterday was pretty good. That's the float right there. Gotta get that ice off of it. There we go. That heater right there is always on. It's plugged in right there. Okay, up here's another project I got in mind. This is the Corral system that I built and designed. I got to do some modifications to it. Now, where we're walking right now is where the cows would come out to the trailer. So what I need to do, I'm going to reinforce the sides here with boards. Okay? And then if you notice, the cows would be coming in from the direction I'm going, so they would be going this way to the trailer, right? If you notice, I don't have an escape route. So if I'm taking cows down this lane and they decide to turn around on me, I have nowhere to go. I could jump on this fence here, but I want to make a gate, and that's what this gate right here is for. So I got to put that in, and I'm going to make it so I can go outside, you know, maybe put it right in this area, just in case they turn on me. So if you haven't seen my system already, you know, I've got various gates and pathways that the cows can go, but this is the main route to the trailer right there. That's where I'd load them. Okay, another thing I'd like to do is I got my chute here, right? So if I pull the cord and the cattle go into this holding area, I call this a holding area right here, they cannot go back to the barn area unless they go around. I don't want to get you too dizzy here. Unless they go around to this gate that I just walked through. Right there, and then they'd have to go down this way and out that gate, right? So why don't I just put a gate right here on the inside? So we're going to put an 8-foot gate to lead back into the barn area. So I need to do that. We also have, to protect the chute, I bought a little hut canopy to go over it. It's just a roof. So I got to put that on. It'll cover that whole chute just to protect it from the weather. And so that's another project we can do. Soon we'll be leaving the cows. We'll send the cows through here. And I'm going to deworm them and make sure that all of the tags are good on their ears. So we got that coming up. I wanted to tell you a little bit of history about this farm. Back in the late 80s, there was a tornado that ripped through here. And it took the old barn down. It took the house down. So there was nothing. All the trees were like gone. And so today the trees are thriving. There's a lot of black cherry. There used to be chestnut here, but they've gotten a blight, and so they disappeared along with, with the tornado damage. So there was nothing here as far as anything livable. There was no fences. It used to be an old sheep farm. They raised sheep here. And you can see in the woods there's some old horse-drawn equipment that they used to use. And they took all the rocks out of these fields and they put them in that island back here behind the pond. And I call it the Rock Island. And years ago they took all the rocks and they put them right there. And so they cleaned up all the fields. But as far as there was no fences here, nothing. We had a pond put in to raise cattle. We actually got cows to keep the grass down in these fields. And we weren't really thinking on actually having a full blown out farm, and just come up here and use it as a cabin. But today I live here. I lived here for over, it's going close to 30 years now. And it's been a beef farm ever since we've got started. Started out with about 6 cows. Eventually ended up having, at the most, about 90. And then my father passed away in 2004. And I pretty much downsized a little bit. And then I went back up, and we mainly had Hereford cattle. And I went towards Angus. So most of my cows are black. There's still a little Hereford in them. But mainly black cows. Because we all know, for some odd reason, that's what brings the most at the sale. But actually, I really liked raising Herefords. They were more calm, easier on the fences than the Black Angus. And you really got to have a good fence. So that's why I'm going to rebuild mine. I'm thinking about going high tensile all the way around. I've got some field fence up down there, but I'm going to go high tensile all the way around, and I'm going to make it so that I can electrify one strand using solar. So that's a little bit of history about this farm. I think this year, as far as planting fields, we're still going to plant a lot of hay. We've got like 3 more fields to plant this year coming up. And as far as corn goes, we're going to go down in that just a little bit. And we're just going to raise enough corn just for the cows. So, I do like selling some corn here and there to people, that like to feed the wildlife or whatever. But we're going to concentrate more as far as, the feed for the cows. Right now, I have about 38 cows, and there's 1 bull in there. We're going to go here pretty soon and buy another bull. I'm going to run 2 bulls this year with the cows. And right now, they should all be pregnant. And I would say we're going to be expecting them in about maybe 2 months. 2 or 3 months. So hopefully the weather holds up then. But as far as now, The weather's been really rough, and it's hard to do outside projects, you know, when it's 15 to 20 degrees. You know, and as far as work in the field, I've got manure to spread. It's getting pretty deep. I don't have a four-wheel drive tractor, so I have to be careful there. So hopefully the weather, once we get a break here, I'll be doing videos on manure spreading. We still got more combining to do out in the field. And in the spring, we're also going to be doing mold board plowing with the 1486. That's how we're going to do this hayfield next to the house. So yeah, there's a lot of things coming up this year. You know, you try to get them all done, but you know and I know things come up and you got to do other things to make things run. What I decide to do with my channel this year, I'm going to incorporate a little bit of outdoors as far as fishing, maybe sightseeing, doing some outdoor adventures. Coming up here, since it's been cold, I want to try some ice fishing. I've only tried it once in my life, and it was pretty scary. Once I walked out onto the ice and it started cracking, I didn't want to go out anymore. But a lot of people say, well, it's just making ice. But as long as the ice is thick, I'm going out. So this year, I'm going to try some ice fishing, and I'm going to try to have a video on that. So right now, I'm going to go down to a lake, and we're going to fly the drone, and we're going to see how the ice looks. And maybe there'll be people out there ice fishing now. If there are, maybe we can ask them, see how they're biting. So let's go down to the lake and see what's going on. Well, as you can see, the ice isn't really thick enough. There's nobody out there. Got a little ways to go before we can get out there and do some fishing. Thanks again for watching Just Making It. And remember, it might not be the right way, it might not be the wrong way, but it's your way. Thanks again for watching. See you next time.